everybody, Mac to Monster here, back with Marvel Heroes, and this time we got War Machine on the chopping block. And he's pretty cool. I had a lot of fun leveling him. Actually, he's on the fastest level time now of 1 hour and 25 minutes. And it's just phenomenally quick. Like him a lot, and I got a pretty good build for him. Call it the Iron Patriot. And we'll start going into it now. First off, Omega points, this is none. And for the build, we're going to do 20 point into Laser Blade Strike. This is going to be the main damage dealer, and this is what we're going to kill elites and bosses with. We're going to do 20 points into Chainsaw Impale. This does 4 hits of pretty good damage on an 8-second cooldown, and we're going to lay this as a backup to Laser Blade Strike. It's going to help. 20 points into Shock Trooper. This gets into our new mechanic, Overheat. As we use our machine gun skills, heat's generated. Once we're up to 100% heat, we are now overheated and slowly lose heat, and our melee skills gain bonus damage. So while overheated, we do extra physical damage. Things around our main target take physical damage twice per second to 3 nearby enemies, and enemies are now vulnerable and take 10% extra damage for 8 seconds. When we activate Shock Trooper, we stun everybody around us. They take physical damage, and it increases heat to max. So we could be at max heat, go down and cool off 100%, then we could hit Shock Trooper again and go up to 100% heat, and basically use that as a way to maintain heat. However, that's on a 16-second cooldown, and when you do it, you can't use machine gun powers when you're overheated, obviously. We're going to do 20 points into Suppressing Fire. We're going to use this as a way to clear out trash packs. 1 point into Fire when ready. Use this as just a little bit of extra damage. 1 point into Rule the Skies. We're going to use this as a way of movement. 20 points into StarTech Upgrade. This gives you a spirit, or suit power in this case. Everything's called suit power. Critical hit rating. It's going to give suit power restoration when not spending. It gives you damage rating for every point of suit power you have above your normal. So for every bonus suit power you have times 3, you get damage rating. So if you had 100 suit power, say on an artifact, you'd gain 300 bonus damage rating. It's pretty much just like Iron Man, Tony Stark's. So also you can toggle this on, and it increases the cost of suit power cost of skills by 40%, but gives you a damage rating as well, and a big chunk of damage rating. We're going to do 20 points into Army of One. That's his signature ability. This does damage rating twice per second for 4 seconds and fires off 20 missiles that hit pretty hard. You are also invulnerable for the duration of that power, so you can use it at a pretty smart time. Hammer of War. This lays down some pretty good damage once every 15 seconds, and it leaves in its wake burning damage that does damage twice per second for 6 seconds. Finally, we're going to dump the rest of our points into Built for War, which gives us some damage negation, maximum health, defense rating, and health regeneration. We can activate this to do some damage, restore 40% of our maximum suit power, which is very nice because we're going to be burning suit power, and it also weakens enemies. Once we click commit points, we can click our specializations. For fire when ready, we're going to use cool under pressure. That way we're not using suit power or generating heat. And then we're going to use purple hearted for Built for War. And this way we get 50% extra passive effect, so we go from 15% to 22.5% damage negation. We also revive 100% of our maximum health and suit power when we're defeated. And then we get 1 second of invulnerability and restore 20% of our health when we activate Built for War. So now we get 40% of our maximum suit power, 20% of our health, and we're invulnerable for a second. Very nice to remember. Very handy. So how I set it up is I have an F1 laser cutter, F2 rule the sky, so I can switch back and forth on my right mouse button, which I want to use. My left mouse button, I have laser blade strike. I have chainsaw impale on 6, shock trooper next to it, hammer of war, army of 1, suppressing fire, and built for war. I have built for war and suppressing fire on G buttons on my mouse, so they're easy to use. Now for gearing, I have a beta particle mini reactor, so that's 330 damage rating basically right there, but it gives me suit power. And the more suit power I have, the more I regenerate when I use Built for War. So it comes in handy to have the extra suit power. I have advanced Crimson Crystal Acidic, which gives me that physical damage rating, 2% chance to become invulnerable for 4 seconds and 1600 health, as well as that 500 damage rating. It's very nice. I'm using a Curse Medallion for the Brutal Strike chance, the critical hit rating, and the damage rating to melee powers. We're really all about the melee. So I'm buffing that up. And plus it's +2 ranks to all powers because it's cosmic. I'm using Advanced Metasensory Array, giving me 287 damage rating, 6% attack speed, +1 to all powers. I'm using a Taskmaster's Fighting Guide for Losers. This gives me crit rating for ranged and melee attacks, so we're buffing both sides. And this is giving me damage rating, and it gives me base damage rating for bosses of 5%, so that's actually pretty awesome. I got my +3 strength pet, which is melee related. It's got +2 to all melee powers and +2 base damage to melee powers. It's all buffed to melee. I got War Machine's Age of Ultron costume, and that's all set to health. He's a little squishy at times, so the health helps. And it's got health on the core with a 3-to-1 core, 3000 health, 100 suit power when you use a med kit. Comes in handy. I got a McCrane Crystal, 200 suit power, 1000 health, 500 damage rating, 500 critical hit rating, and a chance to gain 80 suit power and deal 200,000 damage. It's very good legendary for our Mr. Iron Man, our Mr. War Machine, built by Iron Man, Tony Stark. Relic of the Gaborum, which gives us suit power and health. Insignia of the Mockingbird. When you hit with a melee power, you gain 9% attack speed, 216 damage rating versus bosses, 318 critical hit rating. Pretty good insignia. Got a Brutal Strike, critical hit, suit power, and critical damage rating cosmic ring. Pretty good ring. I got River of the Soul on a defensive hero, so that suit power also becomes damage rating as well as useful. That's very nice. I have Rhodey's Energy Blades. This has got damage rating, physical damage rating, critical hit rating, critical damage rating, attack speed, +1 strength, +1 all powers, +4 to War Machine's shock powers, +2 to Shock Trooper, +4 to Chainsaw Impale, +1 to Laser Blade Strike. That's just awesome. I got War Machine's MK1 armor. This has got huge amount of defense, 200 damage rating. It's got health, suit power, +2 strength, suit power reduction. It's got a chance to become a 2% chance to ignore damage, +2 to all powers, +2 to StarTech upgrade, +5 to Built for War, +5 to fire when ready. I mean, this is just awesome. Cybernetic interface. We got defense rating. We got damage rating versus vulnerable targets. We got health, suit power, critical damage rating, brutal strike or brutal damage rating. We got +1 to all powers, +5 to total war, +5 to suppressing fire, +4 to all War Machines all powers. We got integrated tank treads. We got a good chunk of defense, 2,000. We got physical damage rating. We got +2 fighting. That's awesome. We got brutal strike chance, brutal damage rating, +2 to all powers, +5 to bring the heat. We got the big guns. We got 250 damage rating. We got 2,000 defense. We got health. We got attack speed. We got critical hit rating. We got critical damage rating. We got almost 80 suit power. We got power duration. We got 3% less damage from area powers. We got +1 to all powers. We got +4 to war machines, war gear powers. +5 to army of one. +2 to hammer of war. Those are all good. And there's some procs in there which are beneficial as well. His unique kit is phenomenal. Alright, we're going to go destroy Cosmic Dr. Octopus. This is going to be pretty easy. And you don't even worry about heat. On a different bar, I have Fire when ready and Star Tech upgrade, and I just toggled them on. And they remember that they're on. You won't ever have to toggle them on again. But before you go on a raid or anything, you might want to make sure they're on. It would suck to be on a raid and not have those on. Don't forget to use Built for War to get your suit power back up. I do all the time. Forget that is. Watching the Mimi map instead of the character. like I said, a pretty easy, fast Dr. Octopus kill. It was cosmic. I'm not blessed. The legendary is almost maxed, and just to show there are no omegas spent. And what I did there to start off was I immediately hit Shock Trooper to overheat. I then laid in with the chainsaw and pail to get that to go off first. The whole time I'm laying my left mouse button down on him so laser blade strikes are going through. I then dropped the Hammer of War down. As soon as that was going, I hit Army of One. And then I kept laying into him, and Chainsaw and Pail was up again, so I hit Chainsaw and Pail, and he was dead. And that's it. That's the rotation. Shock Trooper, Chainsaw and Pail, the whole time laser blading. Drop Hammer of War, hit Army of One, hit Chainsaw and Pail again. You know, you're just basically repeating. Bring once everything's up, you keep burning through it. And then you're going to want to build for war anytime you need to. Don't forget you get 1 second of invulnerability during it too. So if you're getting hurt, you know, hit your med kit, hit built for war, and you get 1 second of invulnerability, so you get those ticks going. And that's it. That's the Iron Patriot. So I hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoyed, and talk to everybody real soon.